Hello and welcome to another video from View from the Sheds. This week we've got a cracking episode for you. We jumped on a Zoom call with the Sandbach senior playing group. We discussed everything about last season, what's going to be coming up this season, and how they've all kept fit and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Keep watching to find out what the boys had to say.
Evening, fellas. It's my absolute pleasure to have the Sandbach senior playing group on a Zoom call tonight. How are we all?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks,
Cheers, Putty.
Good stuff. We got who've we got? We got Leachy, Mark, Jimmy, Eggy, Nizza, Stubby, and Ross. So yeah, an absolute selection of talent on the call tonight. So first one, how is everyone? Fit, healthy, well?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
good, mate.
Good. Not sure about fit, but yeah, pretty well.
Dan's
Not
been
fit.
fit, haven't you, Dan?
Nope.
Was that fitness thing you were doing 4 in 20?
Oh yeah, 4 pints in 20 seconds. Yeah. Just,
In my quarantine highlight, I think, Stubby.
well, you know, it's just got the challenge set out to me, and that was it from there. Really, got the nerves and met the challenge. You know, yet to be beaten or challenged by anybody.
Dylan's up next, isn't he?
I thought Gaz had beaten you.
Taz has done it a few times. Just
Gaz had a go, didn't he? Yeah. Sedge has been threatening to have a go, but hasn't got the minerals to do it. Even though he's been offered 300 quid to a charity of his choice, or was it to the NHS? It was to the NHS, wasn't it? I think.
You can't refuse it now. It's going out on media.
And he still won't do it. So yeah, perhaps we could all gather and put a bit of pressure on him to get it out of him.
Mark, some big news from your end?
yes, mate. Yeah, safe arrival of Louis Thomas Bird. Came in the off season, so good stuff. Didn't miss any sessions or any games. So yeah, looking forward to meeting all his uncles down at the club in a few months.
And anyone got any new hobbies, skills?
Stubby's going to drinking. Other than that, no hobbies. Drinking.
Oh yeah, I've been threatening to take up fishing actually, but kind of been watching a few YouTube videos on it and getting Gaz to promise to take us and that, but I just can't seem to find. I've got 3 pints of maggots in the garage. Turning into flies, but I still just can't seem to get out and do any fishing like. So we'll see. Hopefully this weekend I might be able to dip my rod in the water.
Ooh.
And I think the best one we've got on tonight is Eggy, all the way from wherever you are, pal. So glad to have you on board.
Cheers, boys. Good
How have you been?
looking to get back next couple of days. Have a few beers over Skype and that with the boys when I get home, so looking forward to it.
You need to get some training done as well, mate.
Lose a bit of timber.
And so we'll kick off. How do we think the season went last year? Pleased with how we went or where we ended up in the table? Go on, Jimmy, do you want to lead us on that one as our captain?
Yeah, I think it's been I think we can all say it's been a good season. Consistency would be probably our biggest downfall. We've beaten and took a lot of the top teams close, and then always seem to not live up to that standard against the lesser sides. But on a whole, I think very good season. We would have took it if we were offered this at the start of the season. Just a shame it's obviously got finished a bit early because we were starting to peak and hit some form. So it's a shame we've missed on them 5 or 6 games and obviously missing out on that cup final, which would have been nice. But on a whole, I think good. We finished as high as we've ever done as a club, which is good. Yeah.
Leachy, you got any?
Oh mate, I think we scored a few good tries in it as well, didn't we? Your competition showed that. Running it from everywhere.
Yeah, I was, mate, watching some of those tries back. You actually realise some of the tries that you scored this year were top drawer, and I think that's
Exciting,
what coaches.
Yeah, I think that's what we started to do at the end of the season. As Jimmy said, we kind of just coming into a bit of form. It's those games at the start of the year where we're getting 4 points, like Kettering, Paviers, we're getting 4 points, and Newport. I think that was the turning point. And we, like, towards the end of the season, the Nuneaton, the Kettering, the Paviers, Peterborough's, we've got 5 points out the last 4 games, and we're kind of scoring tries and going on and building on what we kind of all kind of getting what the coach are giving us. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say the noticeable thing, like as you watch on that video, is scoring tries, but probably scoring them how we want to score them from taking it from training into games, rather than just, we've scored an all right try out of nothing. We're actually felt like we were getting to the point where, we were really getting the success out of what we were practicing, which is nice to see on them videos.
Yeah, that'd be a big improvement from last year, I'd say. Just the manner we've won and played our rugby. I think that'd be a big improvement on last year's rugby on a whole, just generalising. Like we said there, a lot of our tries have been a lot more and skillful rugby, and as a 1 to 15, we've played a lot better rugby, I think.
Yeah, and that's down to Bebbs, isn't it? Because obviously he came in at the start of the year, and that's what his big philosophy was just to try and make us more attacking and creative as a team. Because I think obviously Webbs was pretty. He was obviously in charge of defence, and that was something that had been put in place over the past 2 years, and that was always pretty tight, which is generally led by Jimmy and Ross. But then the attacking side of things, Bebbs obviously brought that in, and we targeted ourselves 4 tries minimum a game, and I think we averaged 3.2, 3 point something like that, 3.7.
Yeah.
So definitely improved on that front.
Rossi, any standout performances from the season, sort of team or individual?
I think a few boys have mentioned some of the performances already. Always good to nick a win against Newport at home. We normally kind of do one of the top teams in the season. Obviously, we think we like to get a bit more consistent in that, in terms of challenging the top teams and always taking points there. A few ones from me, probably start of the season, first game, Broad Street, probably a better team than their league finish ended up being, but going in at half-time, winning, and then kind of faltering in terms of red cards and stuff. I think a Sandbach of old might have crumbled there, and it probably, you want to set your season off on a good still. So probably that game, and then potentially just from my side of the ball, Kettering away. They're a team with a lot of exciting players and threw some offloads around, and we were up against the cuff for a large period in the second half. The boys getting off the ground and making hits for each other was pretty good, mate. So those are 2 game highlights. Individually, mate, obviously a few of your boys on this call had really good seasons. Leisha, Jimmy in the centres were really good in controlling games. Always hard to look past the front row boys. They get all the glory, but well deserved, because Scrum doesn't go backwards very often. But I was really impressed with a few of the new back row lads. Probably not new in terms of being down the club, but really come into their own this season in terms of Josh Brooks and Bish. Thought they had a really strong season this season and really came into their own.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them boys cracking on next year. Just touching on it, general consensus player of the season. Any? Well, I don't think there'd be too many nominations.
Would have been Brownie, wouldn't it?
Brownie.
Yeah.
Brownie's up there for big. I think he scored a lot of tries. I think Donny at home, he scored a crossfield, he scored a run in from 20, and then he scored a driving maul. So he can do a bit of everything. But other noticeable mentions, I think Rossi's kind of said it. Broad Street game, Brooksy was in the team. A couple of injuries, I think, a couple of unavailabilities. I think Stubby, you're on holiday. The heinous crime in itself, but he stepped up and did miss a game after that, Brooksy. I think he probably went in at second team captain to the season, so that's pretty decent. But for me, it's Jack Leach, player of the season, I would say. You look at them tries, and every try is involved in. I don't remember him having a bad game at 13 or 11 or 14 or whichever wing he decides to play. So, yeah, it's got to go to a fellow back, because all the forwards always gets the vote. So
10-point strings, mate. That's what matters.
Okay, we're not disappointed not to get try of the season, Leachy.
No, mate.
What are you asking me then?
Don't be duckies, to be honest with you.
You were the touch try of the season anyway.
Never lost a game of touch in training, have we, Mark? Fact.
Just for me, I think I've noticed that the squad seems to have a really good atmosphere this year. Nizza, do you want to talk us through what your feelings are on the squad? Everyone's getting together and...
Yeah, I think obviously the squad's been together now, pretty much same squad for the past 2 or 3 years generally, and with the same coaching staff as well. Obviously, we mentioned Bebs came in, but he's obviously had real sort of good impact on the lads. From the sort of social side of things, the boys have all really bought in, and I think that's massive in sort of making it a successful season. Because
I reckon we've had a pretty good culture, though, haven't we? It's probably from last year when we did that. What's it, Cheatham, when he came down when we were struggling a bit.
Yeah,
pretty big turning point, I think. And that seemed to carry on quite a lot into this year.
Yeah, I agree, and I think.
Yeah, go on.
I think some of the stuff we've done after training is probably bound us together in terms of, like a Thursday night, we have a quiz, sit down, have food together, have a few beers. I think that's always a huge positive. I think, as you're right, loads of people obviously in this group and more extended have been together a while, but it's good that people like Santi and stuff have come in and slotted in pretty seamlessly, and that kind of shows performance-wise on the pitch as well, in terms of, the boys enjoy his company, enjoys playing for Sandbach. And hopefully, next season we have a few more examples of that, boys coming towards us, because I think the culture is definitely getting a lot better in terms of just our togetherness and stuff on and off the pitch is flowing really well.
Max and Paddy as well came down this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a pair of blokes. Jeez.
Right,
Jim, you've been pushing some tin with them, haven't you, mate?
Pardon?
You've been pushing some tin with them, haven't you, mate?
Yeah. Well, Pooley, not so much Costa. He's had to move up to his missus' place. But yeah, Pooley's been throwing some weight around and eating a lot of it as well, I think. He's a big lad. He's a big lad now. I think Costa's just bathing himself in custard, I think. Up in the wheel somewhere. No, yeah, I think like our squad mentality as well is as apart from it being where it may have been before, like a 15, 18 man team, whereas now I think we've got 25, 28, we've got 30, 2 or 3 training every session, and if you're first or seconds, everyone runs the same stuff, the same patterns, pretty seamless. I think, which Ross has already said, it just works. Everyone's in the same boat, and there's no real like click or difference between the ones and twos. It's pretty much everyone together every Thursday. Like, we have the food and the quizzes, and everyone's there, relevant if you're ones or twos or even threes. We get a few threes boys coming to train. So I think, it's just a nice environment to be in, I think, which is a good thing, I think.
I think the attitude of an example of here at Stubbs, he's been brilliant. He's kind of played a few games. I think Donny away, he got man of the match and beat their guy in a pint race as well at the end, which was nice to see. Although they said, he's about 14, but he's come in for about 8 or 9 games when Nizza's not been available. Played amazing, kind of got on the bench or in the twos the week after, but didn't moan at training, didn't kind of chuck his toys out the pram, and it's kind of that what makes everyone else, makes the Tuesday, Thursday a lot easier and a lot better.
Definitely. Yeah. Moving into 2021 then, thoughts on the new coach and coaching setup? I think we'll start with Leachy, because I think you have met him before or coached with him or by him before, perhaps.
Mate, it's weird actually. Today I realised that I used to work with Nathan. Completely forgot. So it got pointed out to me. So I worked with him for a little while, and then I've been roommates with him, and then just known him through the rugby circuits in general. Mate, knows his way around a scrum, which is pretty good for us, and pretty good lad. He likes a beer, thick Mancunian accent. You've all heard him last week.
I didn't get him.
He's a big good guy to have around.
Eggy, what are your thoughts? You seem like you're quite involved in their plans for this season. Have you had any communication with the boys, or?
Yeah, so it's been good while I'm away, for just random lads texting me throughout the whole of the tour. Like, so obviously I've been away 6 months now, so I missed a lot of the season when you guys were getting the form going just towards the end of it before it all got shut. But no, it's been great. listening to everybody, what they're doing over this period, it's crap what's going on at the minute, but everybody's getting ready for next season already. I've spent 6 months prepping for next season just to try and get a full season out of my body. So I'm looking forward to next season. I've got a full season that I can commit to the club this year, and I'll be home every week to train and play. So that's my best bit for next season.
Yeah, I think that's a good point as well, to be fair. All the lads, so we've obviously got the Facebook Batch Senior Players group, and I'd say, 75% of the lads have all been buying into the fitness and stuff, keeping fit, ready for whenever Andros gives us the go-ahead that we can play again. So that's been a good buy-in from the boys.
I think with Nathan coming in as well, it's kind of that new coach mentality as well. So Bebbs has kind of come in, and he's got his favourites or his favourite people that he maybe doesn't rate, but he's when Nathan comes in, it's everyone's like going a bit louder at training, kind of run that bit faster and kind of trying to impress him. So it'll give that extra bit of lift to have a bit of a change up in the coaching setup, I think.
Yeah, I think from listening to Bebbs as well, he's still key into his detail. So making sure everyone's reading up on last year's plays and set pieces, which I can't remember. So. Is anyone? I mean, let's Rossi. Anything from you? Obviously, as a sort of senior lad in the pack, have you had any comms with Nath or touch on base with Bebbs?
Just a few things in D with Bebbs and Andrew, mate. Nothing too much from a forwards perspective. I think the message at the back end of last year from Bebbs was, and not just in terms of the pack, but kind of generally, was what we do works, and it's just kind of getting the fine tweaks behind that. So I think we're not going to be tearing up our line out or revolutionising our scrum, but just making sure that the finer detail behind those set piece and what we do as forwards, it's probably just fine-tuned a little bit better, mate. So those extra kind of 5-10% at this level make a big difference. So, just again, looking forward to getting back to it, mate. New coach, obviously, will have new ideas, which always invigorates and re-energises people. A little bit of a spring in the step, as Marky said. So we'll fly from there, I guess, mate.
And a bit of an open floor question, but has anyone set any goals or targets for next season?
Champions League,
yeah. No, just build on what we've already done this year, I think. Like Ross just said, there's nothing really changing. We're not reinventing the wheel because what we did worked across last season, but just, like you say, fine-tune it. Just a little bit more attention to detail on and off the pitch with Bebbs, with his OCD, with his analysis and stuff like that. So getting that right in everyone's job, everyone knows their role. So I think, just build on last year, more attention to detail and aim for that, top 4.
Yeah, I think last year we did loads of good stuff, and it's just a case of just building on top of that, really, isn't it? And just making sure we continue to push on and just sort of those little bits we didn't have a chance to sort of work on last year, whether it's set piece stuff or stuff in attack. We've got that opportunity now in all this time to have a look at what we're going to do next year. So excited.
If we can keep the consistency up, because when we're playing good, it's easy to play. Like when we're playing really well, it seems easy. We just need to do that every weekend. If we keep that consistency, we'll be easily top 4.
I think it'll be interesting going into next season. Obviously, us lads, Sandbach is an amateur club and always has been, so us lads generally are going to be there. But it'll be interesting to see what goes on with the rest of the league, obviously, with financial situation of clubs like Marky said before about Sheffield pulling their funding and stuff like that for the players. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think, obviously, as we said, we've been together for 2 or 3 years. Basically playing a similar style for the past couple of years, which will make it a lot easier for us as opposed to these teams are potentially going to lose 10, 15 players because they're not going to be able to afford them. So I think that stands us in good stead.
Yeah, definitely.
And Leach or Mark, I think you're probably the best to ask for this one. Any lads coming through, or young lads from sort of juniors or Colts that you know of that might be sort of sneaking into the senior squad this year?
I know we got Edvita is obviously unfortunately I don't think he probably got his England cap because of COVID. I'm not sure. He got his North of England, which resulted in his England cap. But I do know he was planning on going to university. Depending on when it starts or when it finishes, he might be back over Christmas. So he's definitely one to watch. I think he's a 12, but by all accounts, probably play anywhere in the back line 10 to 15. And then I think we've mentioned on it about how Brooksy and Bish have come through. I think it'd be quite good, and he definitely got the talent, like Finya Keynes, who stand out for the twos. If he can get himself to training and kind of learn and maybe get in the gym a little bit with Eggy, get a little bit tougher and bigger, he's got all the skill set to really push on and make a first team, and his kind of sidekick in Beachy, a big second row lad, if he can get around, he's the sort of names. Kieran Stubbs still only 19, Beadle only 19. And the likes of not so much coming through as maybe the first team. But you got the likes of Reilly, for example. He's been at uni. He's been mad on the social, enjoying the quizzes with us, and it's great to see them sort of lads to then push on in the twos and then really make the training numbers good as well. So
I reckon on top of that, like the senior Colts coming through, they've got a great group of lads. So like, I used to coach them a bit when they were younger and different things. And mate, they've got huge squads. They love rugby. They want to try and get 20 players into the senior squads at the end of their season. So that should be pretty interesting. Obviously, they've got some pretty high-profile players in terms of like Clarkey and Barlow coming through, both really good. But then they've got loads of other players in there in like the 20 they want to get in. So that would be pretty interesting to see happen. And then I reckon Kizzer and Winnow could be on for good seasons. Winnow's been getting stronger, hasn't he? Right, they're getting more physical, so it'll be interesting on that one, I think, too.
But he's not with his missus.
A few names looking out for, I reckon. Yeah, or cutting his eye or something like that.
yeah.
Hips will be massive after this as well, I reckon. Big Shakira's.
They're like yours, Rossi.
Yeah, I think definitely for me next year, Brooksy, Winnow, Kiz, those lads can really have massive seasons, I think, for us next year, definitely. Niz and Leachy, anything going on sort of the social media in terms of the club? I think you boys tend to head that up. There's been a big push the last couple of weeks or last week.
Yeah, pretty big, mate. We get the mini juniors involved a bit, haven't we? Trying to get their parents involved, and then obviously a lot who can be on social media, get them into it. So there's a bit more of a club feel. Involving some of the parents in that as well.
Yeah, we're just trying to improve the communication of the club in general. So obviously everyone gets the newsletter and stuff, but who honestly opens that newsletter every week? Probably not too many people. So if we can try and make it that we've got stuff going through the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitter and stuff, and just make it a little bit easier to access to, especially like Jack said, the minis and juniors and stuff. So we're just trying to work on trying to put a strategy together to make sure we can get that out to everyone.
That's been good seeing all the sort of pictures of the lads, minis and that scoring tries. Been decent. A few older pictures. Mark
Johnson as well.
But yeah, it's been decent. I've enjoyed that anyway. Any team social? Obviously, at the minute, it doesn't really seem like it's going to happen. But there's a few lads in here that tend to head up the social side of the club. Any proposed socials for when this all finishes?
Well, we've done the quiz weekly up until this week. It was supposed to be Mark's on Tuesday, but he bailed on us.
I had to prep this, mate.
You have to what?
My lines like you are.
You got in my head before we started when you said I was going to go coverage now. So we've always been doing that, which have had sort of 15, 20 lads in most weeks, which have got reasonably loose, which have been good fun. And then we're looking at, so Sedzi and myself sort of do the social side of things, and we're looking at trying to get like an unofficial awards night planned, so away from the official awards night, and an unofficial one more social related, so there'll be awards for 4 and 20 and stuff like that.
Jack Leach, any plans to attend a social in
I just want to see, mate.
Leachy said there was talk of a barbecue of some sort as soon as we can
Yeah, Jimmy's going to give us a lamb and we'll have a big barbecue.
Yeah, get down the club and just literally open all day and beers and grub and whatnot just to blow the cobwebs off, I think.
Yeah, be good. Well, I think everyone's looking forward to that day when everyone can get back together and kind of, finish last season like you'd want to by having a drink and the awards, and then getting keen again for getting excited for getting rugby going again. Can't wait.
To be fair, the lads with the prime postcodes have kept it going a little bit, haven't they? Dropping off a beer every so often for neighbours, which has been pretty good.
Of course.
Some people are being too generous.
Yes, some people aren't drinking them, are they, Nizza and Ross?
I'll put a sign up, no more drop-offs, please.
Wait till Eggy gets back and he'll find 40 cans outside his house.
A Mookie Brown ale.
He'll be there for 40 days.
You definitely do as well. What's everyone's thoughts then in terms of a start date? Do we know, or do we have a rough idea, or are we training towards a date? Anyone?
I think we've got dates. We've got a plan in place because obviously you have to. But I mean, I don't think anybody knows, do they? It's up in the air. You speak to some people and you think that we're not going to play a game of rugby this year. Who knows? You just don't know, do you? You just don't know.
I think it all depends how the Premiership goes and how the football rugby goes, because if they can do it and they've got a lot of money and they can do it, if they can't do it, then I don't think there's any way that we're going to be able to start. So they're going to kind of be the guinea pigs. But I do think the way they're talking, you can meet people in a park now. There's going to be a long pre-season of running, I think, without the ball, which I think the coaches really need to think about how they do that. Maybe they don't want to burn us out too quickly, maybe. I think this quiz and this social distancing drop-off beers is going quite well at the moment.
Yeah.
I think Niz, you've had the best time posted, I think, for a 10k or some other daft distance that you've been running.
Probably, yeah. No, to be fair, I think Andrew's top in the charts. Andros is a machine.
It's not right.
No, I'm taking Jimmy out tomorrow, aren't we, Jim? Going for a little trundle.
Little jog.
And a bush pig flying around Bradwell.
You'll hear me grunting.
Well, yeah, anyone else got anything else they want to, anything they want to add, or any sort of points that they want to discuss about next season, or what they thought was good last year?
I think we have got a new signings, obviously. Whitty, we've got Nathan coming in the pot. Obviously, we've lost Brownie to Sale FC, which mega for him, and I think everyone in the club wishes him all the best going to Sale, and it was only a matter of time. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on and goes higher than that, to be honest. And then obviously having Eggy back is going to be massive. An enforcer in that pack is absolutely what we need. So you've got 3 lads in there that are making the pack stronger. And then the likes of Jimmy Riley, who was unfortunate last year not to play a game. He's like a new signing. And he's been out on his bike and running and stuff. So, yeah, it's exciting to see them 4 come back. And I think Bebbs is on about putting his boots on maybe as well. So
We've got Max and Paddy as well, haven't we? And then a couple more backs potentially coming back. So
yeah, they've actually signed, haven't they, rather than a loan. So that's brilliant with Costa and Pooley.
Yeah.
And mega to us as well.
Costa's new club captain, I think he mentioned, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
No, he's just in charge of the line out.
He's running the line out.
But no, yeah, if everyone's happy with that, thanks a lot, fellas, for coming on. And it's good to see everyone's keeping well, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Luke. Can we just clarify that we are going to cut out that a little bit?
Have a safe trip back as well, Eggy.
Yeah, all the best, Eggs. 48, mate. 48 hours.
All right. May get a beer this weekend.
Right. Just
There'll be plenty on the doorstep.
Oh, little race with Stubby will be naughty this weekend.
I've been dropping him off, but Ollie must have been having him.
He won't beat me in a race, that's for sure.
Okay, that's the unofficial social next week then.
Right, nice one, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
mate.
boys.
See you later, lads.
Right.